Hey, it's Dave Isaacs with you, and in today's lesson we're going to take a look at adding some minor scale tones to the minor pentatonic. This is probably a familiar form. I'm in the fifth position using the most common minor pentatonic formation, starting at the fifth fret with the index finger. 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. And notice that I'm stopping here on the A note because I do want to keep the sound of A minor in your ear. This is going through 2 octaves plus. A pentatonic scale is pentatonic because it has 5 tones. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through those 2 octaves, and then we start the next octave. If we want to continue through that octave, we'll need to move out of the fifth position, and for our purposes today, let's stay just in this little area. Taking a look at what we're actually playing here, we're working off an A minor scale, an A natural minor, which goes like this. Starting at the 5th fret on the 6th string, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7. There's our first octave. And now if I continue from the 7th fret here, 7, 4, 5, 7, 5, 6, 8, 5, and then we also have 7th fret, 8th fret. So here's the form, 2 octaves plus. Now, when we play a minor pentatonic, we're leaving some notes out. Here's the minor pentatonic. So that's just a root, a minor third, the third tone of the minor scale, a fourth, a fifth, a minor seventh, seventh tone of the minor scale. There's the octave. So that means we're leaving out the 2. So instead of this, we have, that's in the lower half of the scale, and in the upper half of the scale, we're leaving out the 6. As opposed to, so, natural minor. Minor pentatonic. And of course the same thing happens in the higher octave. The natural minor has a 2, which we don't play in the minor pentatonic, and a minor 6. Which we don't play in the minor pentatonic either. Now, one of the reasons this is so important is that those notes are essential to some of the other chords in the blues form. If we're going through a minor blues, our primary chords are going to be A minor, D minor, and E minor, or E7 frequently. Starting with A minor, D minor, E minor, let's look at this. The minor pentatonic gives us the notes of an A minor 7 arpeggio. 5th, 8th, 7th, 5th, 7th is the 1, the minor 3, the 5, and the minor 7. So there's a minor 7th arpeggio, and here's the higher octave, 7, 5, 5, 8. So A minor 7 arpeggio is like this. So within the A minor pentatonic, we have all the notes of the A minor 7th chord. We don't have all the notes of D minor or E minor. Lacking the flat 6, the F natural, we can't complete a D minor chord, which would be D, F, A, and the minor 7th would be C. D, F, A, C. Now, we have most of the notes of D minor. We have a D, we have an A. So in fact, I can play off the minor pentatonic and very clearly imply the change from A minor to D minor. For example, A minor, D minor, A minor. And the D, or we really don't know that it's D minor, but you hear the 4 chord anyway. When we include that F natural, though, we can very definitively play D minor. It's a different palette, even, than using the minor pentatonic, because it lets us go into a different place, musically speaking. Now, when we add in the B, the 2, to the minor pentatonic, we get a note from the E minor chord, which would be E, G, B. D would also give us a minor 7th. So with the addition of that B note, I can very clearly articulate all those arpeggios. A minor, D minor, A minor, E minor, A minor, D minor, E minor. Now, when I stick to the arpeggio so strictly like that, it's very clear what the chord is. But we can use scale tones as well and still imply the chords just as strongly. And notice, you do not need to hear a backing track to know where I am in the form. 2, 3. So the addition of those 2 notes to the minor scale lets you really articulate chord tones, and it adds a whole other melodic element to the improvisation. So it's very useful to be able to bring that in, and on top of that, it just lets you do more than if you're strictly sticking to the minor pentatonic. Now, I need to bring one more element to this. I've been working from the A natural minor scale. You're probably familiar with the idea of there being different minor scales. The natural minor, the melodic minor, where we borrow the major 6 and 7 on our way up. 2, 3, 4, 5, major 6, major 7. And the harmonic minor, where we just borrow the major 7. Now, when you think about harmonic minor, you tend to think of this sort of exotic, so depending on your perspective, it sounds vaguely Spanish or Middle Eastern, any number of things really. And people tend to use it as an exotic scale, but it's really not. The whole reason it's called harmonic minor is that the 5 chord in a minor key is minor if you strictly use scale tones, but it can be major if we borrow that 7th from the major scale, and adding the major third to that chord just gives us a stronger sense of resolution from the 5 to the 1. So for example, lots of minor key blues type songs, lots of minor key songs in general, in the key of A minor might use an E7 as the 5. And in order to play over that E7, having the option of playing G sharp really allows us to work off the chord changes in a way that we can't if we're just sticking to minor pentatonic. So now I'm going to use the G sharp to imply the E7 chord, and I should point out that I can use it over the A minor as well as a passing note from G natural. Works very nicely. So, playing over a minor blues progression using E7 as the 5 chord. Notice the use of the B as a passing note over A minor. Implying D minor. And then notice that I did use the G natural over E7 as well, walking up chromatically, and then using it as a small partial arpeggio. Again, using the G natural as a setup, as a grace note, and then the arpeggio. By using the G and the G sharp, we end up with something of a hybrid scale with elements of the minor pentatonic, the natural minor, and the harmonic minor. If I go through it as a scale, it comes out like this, starting from the A on the 5th fret, 6th string. So I'm going to use this over a minor blues backing track, simply a 12-bar blues. We're using E7 as the 5 chord. The track is linked in the description down below, along with a link to a tab that shows the scales and some of the lines that I'm playing. Check it out. course, the idea is for you to come up with your own licks to play over this track. Everything I just did there was an illustration, and if I were really playing the tune, I would be working with more than just this one little area of the neck. But I wanted to make it clear what I was doing. You could probably hear when I was bringing in the notes that were not part of the minor pentatonic because, as I said earlier, it gives a whole different flavor to the improvisation. So what you can do from here is learn the scales and arpeggios individually. Again, they're in the tab that's linked down below. Learn some of the licks if you'd like to, or just go right ahead playing over the backing track and try incorporating some of these other sounds. Now, this is a concept you should be able to get a lot of mileage out of in different situations, not just adding to the minor pentatonic and not even just adding those notes. So as I said, you can cop some of the lines that I played if you like, or just jump right in and come up with your own. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please like and subscribe. If you've got something to say, please comment. I'd love to hear from you. I'm Dave Isaacs. Thanks for watching.